In the 1980s, Los Angeles was full of dreamers, artists, and believers. But a few miles south, in the quiet town of El Cajon, there was a group that took belief to another galaxy. They called themselves the Unarius Academy of Science, and they didn't pray to gods or prophets. They believed in space brothers, enlightened beings from across the universe who watched over Earth and would one day arrive in a fleet of 33 spaceships. To most people, it sounded like a B-movie, but to Unarius, it was real life. The story started in Los Angeles back in 1954, when a man named Ernest Norman said he'd begun receiving messages from higher dimensions. He claimed advanced spirits had chosen him to reveal a new kind of science, one that blended reincarnation, physics, and cosmic consciousness. He called it Unarius, short for Universal Articulate Interdimensional Understanding of Science. That name alone tells you what kind of world they were building. Ernest's wife, Ruth Norman, helped shape the group's message. She had a big personality, bright clothes, loud jewelry, and an unshakable belief that she was chosen to continue the mission. When Ernest died in 1971, Ruth took over completely. She rebranded herself as Uriel, meaning Archangel of Peace, and declared that she was in contact with spiritual beings from other planets. Under her leadership, Unarius transformed from a quiet metaphysical group into a full-blown UFO religion, one with its own studio, costumes, and weekly television shows. By the late 1970s, the group had built a video production studio at their headquarters in El Cajon. Using thrift store props and borrowed film gear, they started producing short films, lectures, and colorful reenactments of their teachings. Their biggest project was a low-budget sci-fi movie called The Arrival, filmed around 1979 and shown on local public access TV through the early 1980s. In it, Unarius members portrayed the long-awaited Space Brothers arriving on Earth to save humanity from its own violence. It had glitter, cardboard spaceships, and acting straight out of a Saturday matinee, but they meant every frame of it. Ruth was the star, playing Uriel in long, flowing gowns that shimmered under the lights. She'd glide across sets shaped like galaxies, delivering messages from higher dimensions. To outsiders, it looked campy, even comedic. But to followers, these weren't performances. They were psychodramas, a way to re-experience past lives and heal spiritual wounds. Each costume, each prop, each line of dialogue was supposed to help people remember who they once were in the stars. Unarius believed that every soul on Earth had lived hundreds of lives on other planets. Hollywood's love of reincarnation movies, from Here Comes Mr. Jordan to Heaven Can Wait, made their ideas sound almost familiar. But Uriel added something new. She promised that humanity was on the verge of graduation. According to her, in the year 2001, 33 flying saucers would land near El Cajon, marking Earth's official entry into the Interplanetary Confederation. The faithful would greet their cosmic brothers, begin a new age, and leave violence behind forever. To spread that message, Unarius aired public access programs across Southern California. Local viewers flipping through channels at midnight would sometimes find Uriel sitting on a silver throne surrounded by glowing planets, talking about love, science, and energy fields. Her followers stood beside her in sequined robes, reciting lines from her books and waving crystal wands. It was part sermon, part performance art, and entirely sincere. Like most spiritual movements, Unarius asked for support. Followers bought books, attended classes, and donated money for film production and events. There were past life therapy workshops and cosmic study sessions, but unlike darker cults of the era, Unarius kept things mostly harmless. There were no weapons, no compounds, no violence, just cameras, costumes, and a deep belief that salvation might arrive in a UFO. As the 1980s rolled on, Uriel's personality became the face of the movement. She drove around town in bright gowns, once posing in front of a Rolls-Royce covered in star decals. The press adored her. She gave interviews where she said she lived many lives, one as Queen Nefertiti, another as Jesus' sister, and several as space royalty. She said the media mocked her, but she didn't mind. They laughed at Galileo too, she'd tell reporters. By the end of the decade, Unarius had become a small media phenomenon. Documentaries, late-night talk shows, and even People magazine covered them. Most of LA saw them as harmless eccentrics, a group of sci-fi believers spinning cosmic fairy tales under the desert sun. But for those inside, this was the future. They rehearsed the landings. They kept the lights on in the studio. They waited for 2001. Ruth Norman died in 1993 before she could see that deadline come and go. When 2001 arrived and no spaceships landed, the remaining members said it didn't matter. The arrival was spiritual, not physical. They kept making films, teaching classes, and producing videos well into the 2000s. Today, Unarius still exists in El Cajon, run by longtime students who treat Uriel's legacy like scripture. Their headquarters looks frozen in time. Pastel murals, glowing saucers, racks of VHS tapes, and mannequins dressed in space robes. It's easy to laugh at Unarius, the costumes, the acting, the starships that never came. But that's the trick with Los Angeles stories. What looks ridiculous on the surface often hides something sincere underneath. The people who joined Unarius weren't con artists or predators. They were dreamers, burned-out seekers, and ex-actors chasing meaning after the lights faded. Uriel gave them a story where they were chosen, important, and eternal. For some, that was enough. It was a cult of fantasy. It was Hollywood spirituality in its purest form, turning B-movie spectacle into religion. And if you strip away the sequins, it's really a story about how far people will go to find purpose in a city that runs on illusion. So next time you see those old Unarius clips floating online, the glittering robes, the cardboard UFOs, the woman with the crown of stars, remember that behind the strangeness was a simple truth. Los Angeles has always been a place where people come to reinvent themselves. Some do it on a soundstage, some do it on a spaceship, and sometimes the only difference between the two is whether anyone yells "cut."